The voice doesn't sound like a robot. The voice sounds like a human person. We literally tested it. We put ourselves in a shift, had Phoebe call us because we wanted to see what it was like to be that other person on the other line. It was great. I was sold after that.
Hey, Debbie, Dave here. Excited to chat with you today about your kind of team's use of Phoebe and everything you've had going on with kind of implementing AI into your operations over the last handful of months. We've been working with you guys at HomeWell. Thanks for joining me.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to kick off. I mean, just tell me a bit about your background. You personally is obviously good to give anybody kind of reading or listening a bit of an intro into your background, but then also your role with your HomeWell operation. And then we could chat a little bit about your operation today.
So my name's Debbie. I have 15 plus years in home care experience. I've been with HomeWell for a couple of years. I'm a native of Colorado, born and raised here. I am the operations director for our Boulder, Westminster office and also our Denver office. And I'm also the business manager for HomeWell.
Tell me a bit about your office locations. You've got quite a few there. Always helpful to orient around number of locations and then anything you're comfortable sharing about your size in terms of the billable hours, clients, caregivers.
We have an office in Loveland. We have an office located in Westminster that services the Westminster Boulder areas, which includes all of the areas around Westminster, Boulder, Louisville, Longmont, Lafayette. We have an office in Denver, one in Inglewood and one in Parker. We have right now currently 150 plus clients across the offices. We have over 120 caregivers. And we're growing every day. We have new clients coming in all the time.
Yeah, I think that's good growth. Growth is good to see. And hopefully we're helping you guys grow a little bit as well. Maybe just to set the stage for pre-Phoebe and then post-Phoebe use inside of the company. Tell me a bit about your scheduling operation. What did it typically look like to fill an urgent shift, whether that was like a call out or a new client that wants to kind of start pretty quickly or a sudden vacation for a caregiver? Like, how did you guys typically handle that kind of prior to starting work with us?
Prior to Phoebe, obviously when there was a call out, whether it was a short call out with short amount of time to get that client filled, or whether it was hours before, or even when a client comes on to start services immediately, the time that it was taking for our admins to go through the caregivers to try to find that good match for them was hours most of the time. It would take, unless we knew somebody right off the top of our head that we knew was available, that was going to go, it wasn't something that could obviously be staffed quickly. It was definitely very time consuming for our admins to have to go through the caregivers and look and make sure that they were qualified, calling them up, leaving them messages, sending them text messages, all of those things, and then going on to the next one. And then it was coming to the point where, oh my gosh, the shift is going to start in 30 minutes. Now it's an all hands on deck. Let's start going. And who have you already called? Who have you not called? Who can we call? So it became very time consuming for us.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And definitely sounds stressful. I'm sure that eats away a bit you and your team and everyone that's having to do the work. So I'm curious then, when you kind of heard about Phoebe, I know when we originally started working with you guys, I reached out to a member of your team. We ended up kind of forming the relationship, but I'd be curious, when you heard about Phoebe, we're coming in here and pitching this idea of what if we could have AI just kind of talk to everybody at the same time and recommend who to call. What did you think about it when you first heard about kind of the idea of bringing Phoebe in?
When I first heard about Phoebe, me personally, I know that we're moving more to a higher technology world. I was a little hesitant on it because I didn't know a lot about it. I didn't know how it was going to work. Is this going to be a robotic voice that calls somebody? And these people are thinking it's just like when you call to pay your bill, you're speaking to somebody that's not even really somebody. So I felt like we were going to lose the personal aspect of home care that we as HomeWell have with our clients, our caregivers, all of those things. I was a little hesitant on it. Once we got Phoebe and I learned more about it, and knowing that the voice doesn't sound like a robot. The voice sounds like a human person. We literally tested it. We put ourselves in a shift, had Phoebe call us because we wanted to see what it was like to be that other person on the other line. It was great. I was sold after that. I was like, I really like this. This is great. It's like talking to a human being. This person actually talks back to me.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. And it's something that even today, I mean, people are getting more used to the idea of AI coming in, and people have now interacted with these AIs, but so many robocalls today, like with other companies, whether it's like credit card or airline or whatever, it's like still pretty rough. You just want to get to the operator. Totally get the hesitation coming in, just because we are so tightly integrated with the data that you guys have in like WellSky across your care plans, care goals, ADLs, all that good stuff. It's like being able to, number one, have the voice that's not robotic, but number two, have it know everything about your caregivers is definitely a bit of a different experience, I think, than a lot of people expect when they first hear about this. So you a little skeptical, you tried it out, you got sold. We brought Phoebe in, started getting your team up to speed. I'd be curious just to like jump right in and say, like, looking at what you described previously with how you operated kind of pre-Phoebe, and then looking at now a handful of months of use, being active in Phoebe, what's the one thing that stands out that's different about how you operate today to get scheduling and caregiver communication done versus what you did 6 months ago?
I think what's different for us is the communication, obviously, with our caregivers has gone up, because they have to be interactive with Phoebe, or else Phoebe will continue to call them. And so that we tell them and we inform them, communicate with Phoebe. And then Phoebe's going to stop calling you. So when you get the shift confirmation, say yes, or give a thumbs up emoji, or do something, and then it's going to stop calling you. The same thing when it's looking to fill a shift. If you just type in, if it's texting you and you just type in an N, it's going to stop calling you. But at least then we know that you're not ignoring us. Whereas before, 6 months ago, we could call 15 times and people were not going to answer the phone. We could text them, and we were constantly having to go back and call and text and call and text. Whereas with Phoebe, they just have the option to be like, no or yes. So I think our communication has gotten a lot better. We get a lot of feedback from our caregivers that they like that option. They like to be able to say, no, I can't do this. Or yes, I can take this shift. Go ahead and put me in. And so our communication with our caregivers has gone up. They feel more appreciative. They feel like we're not bothering them over and over and over again. So I think over the past 6 months, our communication has gotten a lot better, which, as our caregivers feel that our communication is better, it keeps our retention of them too.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And I'm curious, you mentioned before Phoebe, you got an open shift, whether, call out, new client needs to be filled. You guys would spend sometimes hours making those calls. How do you think that's changed from metrics perspective in terms of shift opens up? What's the kind of typical time input now from your scheduler compared to what you were doing before?
So when a shift opens up, the scheduler will launch Phoebe, send it out. Our typical time to get that shift staffed is between 15 and 30 minutes, usually more on the less side of like 15 minutes to get it. Because Phoebe's able to reach out to 15 caregivers in that time, as a scheduler is only able to reach out to like one.
Totally makes sense. And I'm curious, that communication goes out, caregivers typically come back within 15 minutes. And first off, that's great to hear. And didn't prompt you to say that, but that's like the metric we really go for. We're not having Phoebe fill the majority of your shifts in 15 minutes or less, probably knocking at your door like, hey, we think there's a room for improvement here, because this is kind of the baseline expectation. And we like to see it faster, obviously, of course, but like 15 minutes from an hour is pretty basic. As far as your schedulers go, like obviously saving them time, you mentioned we're giving them the ability to be more communicative, giving the caregivers the, kind of feeling that they're being communicated with. Any other quality of life things that you might, call out from your scheduler's perspective?
Phoebe takes a lot of stress off of them, because they're not feeling the pressure of having to call all the time and do all those things, which when we started Phoebe, we found that it took a lot of their time that they were having to call these caregivers and track them down and all of those things. And it frees them up to do other things besides constantly be on the phone and chasing. So one of the things that we found is that now that we are using Phoebe, it frees up our schedulers to do other admin things. Like we have an admin helping with billing now. So we don't have to hire a billing assistant, because now the admin is free to help in that aspect. We have another admin that does other administrative things, so we don't have to hire another admin assistant to do our welcome packets and our cards that we send out. All of the things that the caregivers appreciate, our newsletters that we send out to clients. It's freed up time for those schedulers to do those things, so we don't have to hire other people and take on more payroll.
Love to hear that. I think as you all are, kind of freeing up time to help with other things, it's obviously helpful to not have to hire other employees. But have you seen any kind of growth, or do you expect to see kind of growth, direct result of kind of using AI?
I do. We have had growth with it because I think a lot of it is because we can get people staffed quickly. So our clients aren't getting upset because we don't have people to go. So they're telling their friends, I use this home care agency and I always have somebody here. And if somebody can't make it, somebody is here. They are always making sure that I have somebody here. So I think word of mouth has, because of Phoebe, it has gotten our growth and it has increased our growth over the past 6 months.
We get kind of asked for referrals all the time. So I'd be curious if you were chatting with another home care owner, whether that's, coming from HomeWell or elsewhere, and they were saying like, hey, I'm thinking about using Phoebe. I'm a little skeptical of doing this. What's it going to do to my caregivers? What's it going to do to my staff? What would be kind of the piece of advice or two you would give them in kind of honest feedback? Should they try it or should they not?
I would definitely tell them I was that person at one time. I was the person that was really on the fence about going with AI and having that. But I would also tell them that I jumped the fence and I was like, let's try this and see if it works. It was amazing. 100%. I would recommend it to everybody. It completely helps. It's a great tool to have in your home care. It takes a lot of stress off of the staff, and happy staff is happy life in my eyes.
What's it been like working with Phoebe, the company? I know you and several members of your team have had a chance to interact with our team. Yeah, what's that experience been like for you?
It's been great. I love Phoebe. It's very user friendly. The staff at Phoebe is very, very helpful. Whenever we have a question or anything, they're always there to help. If we need more training, they're always open to say, hey, yeah, let's get you on the books. When are you free? They're very explanatory. They explain things. We have a question. Can we customize something? They're always like, well, yes, you can. You can do that. Let's do that for you now. So the staff at Phoebe has been amazing. Phoebe itself has been great. So I think all around it's a great tool to use.
Yeah, I love that. And that's great. We try to be super responsive. We know that is the way to build a long-term durable business here is, treat our customers right and actually build the things that people ask for that are going to from a day-to-day basis. So I'm glad we're staying on that. That's fantastic. Anything else, that comes to mind in terms of like what I could have asked that I didn't ask, or something you might want to, again, share with a scheduler that might be skeptical, or, share with anybody else considering Phoebe?
The thing that sticks out to me with Phoebe is that it holds the caregivers responsible to be communicative with it, which is with a scheduler, they don't have to. They can block the number, they can block the text, they can turn off the email notifications. With Phoebe, you have to communicate. So it holds them responsible. In the same aspect, how one of the great things that I like about Phoebe is that it sends the confirmations for their shift. They have to confirm their shift, which has cut our no call, no shows down because they've confirmed, or they can't say, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to go see that client. Well, you got a confirmation, you confirmed it. So that's one thing I think that really sticks out for me is that has brought no shows way down. It's brought our caregivers accountability way up, and they know that I confirmed that I'm supposed to be at this shift, so I better go. They can't turn it off. They can turn off emails and a lot of people don't check their emails. Phoebe will send you a text so they can say yes or no. So I think that's the one thing that sticks out to me and what's really brought our home care up and lets us stand out above everybody else.
Thanks so much for your time, Debbie. We love having you as a customer and user and friend. So we hope to continue to work with you for a long time. I know we were chatting before and we've got a lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline. Yes. So hopefully we can have another one of these conversations in 4 or 5 months after you've gotten your hands on all the new stuff that's coming out, and we can talk again soon.
And we're excited to have it all come and help us.